Today is on 22 January, year 2020. I read the Facebook post of 29 May, year 2020 in English. Parents, the cruelest thing is they can give, but they do not give their own child a happy childhood in the world. The Facebook post on 22 June, year 2018 in English. I watched a recent program which showed about the United States government forces about 2,300 children to be separated from their parents who are illegal immigrants in United States. The action makes their parents very upset and extremely angry. As I watched the news, especially feel very sorry and painful. My most loved daughter and son, who also very love me, actually due to the persecution and falsification of the Australian police's prosecutor. They did not allow me meet with my two most loved children. Furthermore, I can't meet with my children for about 15 years. My apprehended violence order, AVO, has already been dismissed in 2009. Throughout the 15 years, I have tried all methods to apply for visas to and look for my two most loved children. I have never given up reunion with my two most loved children. Although I met with my children 2 times last year because of the Australian police's prosecutor persecuted me of the criminal case 70 years ago, my daughter and son cannot accept the truth that really happened that time. They dare not meet me again. I used all the ways asking them. They did not respond. In particular, my daughter was alone in her backpacking trip to Europe in October last year. Before the end of the trip, she has no longer contacted me until now, making me very worried about her. Australia is a democratic land, and Australia is a democratic and legal country which has a country ruled by law. How can the Australian police be so-called bloodedly and viciously treating and abusing me and my two pitiful children? Could God tell me, when can I get together with my two most loved children? Facebook post on 27 July, year 2018. Yesterday, ANZ Bank suddenly called me and they returned me the safety box that I had been stolen by them in year 2007. That time, I was threatened by the bank staff who said that he will call the police to arrest me if I don't leave immediately. After 11 years, I never expected they would return it to me. The staffs heard the process of the case from me yesterday. They were shocked, and the National Australian Bank (NAB) had stolen more than 30,000 Australian dollars from my bank account 13 years ago. I don't know when will they repay the money to me. August, year 2018. A short journey and very tired 7 days in Taiwan. I am in the waiting room for the flight to return to Australia from Taiwan. Evil can't beat justice. Do not believe that there is no justice and fairness in the world. I hope that I can defeat all the devils and evil groups and give me the justice and fairness back I deserve. Seven. Facebook post on 7 October, year 2018. It in English. It is my daughter's birthday tomorrow. I can't have a meal with her. My son's birthday is the same as my daughter's. In the past 16 years of persecution, I am afraid that only the afterlife will meet with my daughter and son. Dining in the skating lounge and waiting for boarding. I hope everything will be fine and safe in my trip. Facebook posts on 19 October, year 2018. Published with Chinese and English on the United Evening News at 20th in April, year 2016. Australian Yanjie Chow, Fury, condemned. There is no unsolvable lot in the world unless it is the significant conspiracy. The persecution lasted for 16 years and has not stopped yet. In the past of 16 years, I have not been afraid of that I will be murdered. Today, I dare to strongly condemn the Australian police, prosecutor, judge, doctor, and lawyer. I am already not afraid of the Australian police to murder me. 16 years ago, I had been a very successful and wealthy jeweler in Sydney, Australia, and a good citizen. Australian prosecutor, judge, doctor, and lawyer who collectively forced and persecuted me by illegal way, and created evil and distorted sentences. The persecution has not stopped since year 2003. The prosecution's shackles made my daughter and son today unable to accept the truth. What happened at that time caused my children and me not able to reunite in this life. The Australian prosecutors are really evil and inhumanity, and the Australian prosecutors are really like terrorists who have destroyed my whole family members' normal lives. What is the difference between them and the killer's hangman? The evidence that prosecutor persecuted me, which can be found it out in many places. For example, the videotape of the court, the tape of the prosecutor, and the true record of the Ray Hospital. My ex-wife now is unable to honestly confess to our daughter and son, but the great lie is the Australian police have fabricated in the society for my ex-wife for 16 years, from the incident started to today. Their purpose was just to prevent my daughter and son from meeting me. The police only want to drive my children crazy. In the past over 10 years, my daughter and the son had tried to beg them to allow seeing their father, but my children failed. I still had the father's visitation rights when my children were under 18 years old, but I couldn't see them. My ex-wife had no right to stop me from seeing my daughter and son. Only the police had enough power to stop me from meeting my daughter and son. This is the basic common sense. Because as long as I met my children anytime, the truth would come out, and the criminal fact of the police persecuted me and my family members that could not cover up anytime. Could not cover up anymore. This is why I had been unable to meet my daughter and son for more than over 15 years. On the 25th of last month, one of Australian 4 major banks, ANZ Bank, suddenly gave the bank safety box back to me. My bank safety box was stolen by the bank staffs from the inside of the NZ Bank about 11 years ago. Year 2007. In the 11 years, I never expect that the NZ Bank will return it to me. When I retrieved the bank safety box, the bank staff heard the process of being stolen and was very shocked. Another national bank. Also, it is one of Australia's 4 major banks. National Bank stole more than 30,000 Australian dollars from my account about 13 years ago, year 2005. I do not know when will the NAB Bank, National Bank, repay my money and interest. Hawkesbury City Council of New South Wales, Australia, illegally damaged and destroyed my private land twice. One time was last year and another time was around year 2005. They definitely want to bully and persecute me to die. I have no ability to defend my rights at all, so I can only use my self-life to extremely condemn the Australian police and the Hawkesbury City Council for persecuting me. My ex-wife is the mother of my children. I never blamed her because she came from a turbulent age, did not understand interpersonal relationship. I want to find out the real culprit. Since the beginning of the whole incident till now, I am facing at the death's door. I never really blame her, because she is also the victim of the Australian police, and so does my whole family. Facebook post on 20th November, year 2018. I shared much with my daughter last month for 7 hours, but it seems that nothing has been solved between us. I would like to thank the seafood restaurant boss and the employees for their full understanding of the young person who born and grown here, whose voice is high and did not even ask us leaving during the lunch break. My daughter also politely said sorry to the restaurant boss before I sent her home. My daughter is a very good girl. Since childhood, I feel very, very sorry for her. Facebook post on 25 November, year 2018. We talked over and clarified a lot of things after meeting my daughter on the 12th of this month. This is me give her an email. Dear my daughter, first, you told me that your grandma told about the incident process that took place on June 21, year 2002. That was completely different from the statement she made to the police. And then you told me that the incident process was other people told you. Second, you also know that I had known Ma from 1988 to year 2002. During the 14 years, I had never hit your Ma. Only I had been hit many times by your Ma. You say that although I didn't beat your Ma, but I had abused her. Your Ma's temper is bad. Can I dare abuse her? In these 14 years, your Ma wanted me to buy anything for her and ask me to do anything. I would certainly give her and listen to her. I love to be clean, good at character, and easy going, and easy understanding and communication with people. I have no bad habits and like to help people. I do not take drugs, not addictive in gambling, not an alcoholism, not slow in sleeping, and not a mystery outside. And I had a strong ambition of the enterprise. I had earned a lot of wealth and carefully looked after my family and very loved my wife. Lord, when you were a child, I always had a wish that you would marry a man like Daddy in the future. I remember you told me last year that when you were 4 years old, I abused you because one day I was sleeping. You asked me, got up, and took you out to play. I asked that you have to speak from 1 to 100. And then I will get up and take you out to play. In fact, although you don't want to do it at the beginning, but you still finish it. And I ask you, say 2 times, you are great. I applauded you. Then I take you out and play. Explained to you that this is a sweet opportunity to parent-child relationship. So you realized that you were brainwashed by other people. Your Ma admitted to the church priest and the members that I had asked her to sell all shares of the store to Auntie Teresa, since year 1998. I asked Yoma leave away the feminist entanglement and establish our own business. I am willing to register all the property under Yoma's land, and all the money is kept by Yoma. If I need money to do investment, then ask Yoma. Ma told them that she didn't interested in it because I would still ask her for money to invest. She had to take money out to me. Everybody had understood Yoma wanted to rob my 75% of wealth at that time on November year 2001. Third, in the court lobby, I asked you come, and you ran forward to me, and then I hugged and kissed you, and told you that I miss your boss and always looking for your boss. You surprised, asked me, really? I said yes. But you said that only I am hugging you. You do not hug me at that time. Of course, your body is so small. I was very excited to hug you. And how can you open your arm to hug me? Yoma was speaking with Judge George when I hugged you at that time. Yoma suddenly turned her head to see this situation. She began to cry in hysteria. Judge George immediately ran out from the counter room and grabbed you and Jason away. You said that you told Judge George in the courtroom and you are willing to see me, but your brother Jason told Mr. George that he is not willing to see me, so Judge George did not allow me to see your boss. But you didn't know. The thing was, when we in the court, Mr. George grabbed Jason's hand and walked past the stair in the front of me. I asked Jason coming to me hug. Jason wanted to come to me, but his hand was tightly caught by Judge George. He did not dare to resist, only walking with Judge George. I didn't dare to rush to hug Jason in order to apply to see your boss. And when you left the court, your hand be grabbed out of the lobby by your ma and Judge George. I looked back, you looked back at me, and I kept looking at you. I didn't dare to rush to hug you in order to apply to see you. I looked at you were grabbed out by them. My heart hurt and very painful. I had got a very serious sickness after went home at the second day. Fourth, you say the court informed me, attended to court, but I was in Taiwan and did not appear in court. Only your ma appeared in court. You guess Daddy's friend who might give received the notice and did not tell me. The court was bullshit. I applied for father visitation right at the family court every year, and Daddy returned to Australia to apply to see you boss from many different associations and organizations every year when I went to Taiwan. They all refused Daddy's application for different ridiculous reasons. One of the most ridiculous reasons, the court worries that after Daddy meet your boss, your mom would hurt your boss. Fifth, you say, I say so many things. That is to say that your mom and the police are evil, but I never say mom is evil. Sixth, you asked that, how did I know so many famous people? Because they all know that I did not have the plan and the incident was an accident. My guilt is not the attempted murder or malicious wounding and gravely bodily harm. Though Australian judiciary should give me the trial court with jury and judicial officers shouldn't use the ridiculous way to persecute me. Seventh, my bank safety box 11 years ago had been stolen by a bank, and the bank deposit also had been stolen by a bank 13 years ago. You say they were accidentally made mistakes by two big banks, and your explanation that they are like your unit's window is also damaged by some people. This period, very, very important. My daughter told me her unit's window is damaged by some people. Very, very evil and terrible. As you hope I will succeed, you will feel proud of me. Some people say that is definitely not the police who persecuted me, because the Australian police and me, who are not enemy. Why do they persecute me? I want to know that why do they persecute me and my family as well. 12th Facebook post on 12th December year 2018. It was in English. It was finally published in Sydney's New Chinese Marketing Weekly on the 7th of this month. Because of the big difference from the content published in Taiwan, I am very dissatisfied. But it is very difficult to be able to publish in Australia. The large Chinese newspaper refused to publish, and they said they were afraid of getting into trouble. There is also a newspaper that said that advertised this kind of complaint. The accused party must be published together with mine, and then the newspaper will allow me to publish. It's ridiculous. Must be get justice and fairness, even pay my life for it. Maybe will be my fate. My children are on the verge of collapse. I am their father. I am very, very sorry for them. Facebook posts on 13 December year 2018. Sydney's New Chinese Marketing Weekly published at December 7 this year. Facebook post on 3 February year 2019, published at January 25 year 2019 in Sydney's newspaper of Australian New Chinese Marketing Weekly. Facebook post on 9th February year 2019. Dear my Facebook's friends, Happy New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. This year may be the last year of my living in the world. I have done all my struggling in Sydney, Australia, but I still have been blockaded by them. I am ready to start a Facebook live broadcast and officially challenging to the Australian police. They have to give the fairness and the justice back to my future life. Even I lost my life in order to the pride for self and my children, I'm willing to pay for. Of course, that time the police may also blockade my network and harass my life broadcast. These disgusting behaviors are not surprised and strange to me. Recently, after I have been struggling here, finally there is a similar Chinese newspaper to publish my news of persecution in Australia, but the English newspaper still refuses to publish. I have to keep working hard. If they do still not allow publishing my news in English newspaper, could only directly go to street and the front of Canberra's Parliament building to disseminate protest paper and use the internet to broadcast. As long as it's right and justice, just do it. Don't mind if you need to sacrifice self-life. If the death is my destination now, I am willing to accept it in peaceful mind, and I wouldn't exclude it anymore. In the 70 years I have been living in the long struggling and tough life in order to justice and fairness. Today it is finally going to an end sooner. It already a miracle that I am still living in the world now. Would this year be my last life's period of journey in the world? It will be reviewed soon. My daughter and son forced me to give up the rights to pursue fairness and justice because they think that I have been smeared and stinking. Also, I'm old and don't have the hope anymore. They think that I don't have the chance to turn over to earn huge wealth. Their mother would be very embarrassed if all of the truth comes out. The fake story on me, which really killed me to die in the past 7 years. The fake story on me will be completely subverted. My children would worry that their bright future will be destroyed. Now I have lost my children. They also are the one of the victims under the persecution of the Australian police. Beg God to give me strength and try to take back my life's fairness and justice as soon as possible, also including my children's. February, year 2019. In Australia, there is another large Chinese newspaper in Sydney that published my complaints that were persecuted by the Australian state machine. Thank you, God. I also need to overcome the difficulty and find a way to publish these complaints in the English newspaper in Australia. The Australian government must face up the events and the facts that persecuted me and my children 70 years ago, and it had not stopped today. Facebook posts on 19 February year 2019 in English. In Australia, there is another large Chinese newspaper in Melbourne that published my complaints that were persecuted by the Australian state machine. Thank God. I also need to overcome the difficulties and find a way to publish these complaints in the English newspaper in Australia. The Australian government must face up to the events and face that persecuted me and my children 70 years ago, and it had not stopped today. Facebook post 12 May year 2019 in English. Appreciate it for good friends' birthday wishes. Since my son and daughter's life has been completely destroyed by the Australian police for 16 years, they are now unable to face normal life, and their father would love them. They only have to choose to escape. It is the biggest family tragedy in Australia's democratic and rule of law society. As long as I am still alive, I will have won the fairness and justice one day. Facebook posts 5 April year 2019. I believe that God won't bully and destroy a good-hearted and moral person. A short journey in Taiwan. I hope everything will go smooth after returning to Sydney in Australia. My daughter and son, who know that Daddy did not have a plan and my ex-wife was not seriously bodily harmed. Where was the serious crime of malicious wounding and gravely bodily harm from? That crime sentence was raised up to 25 years in the year when I and my ex-wife had an accident. The criminal sentence was raised from the maximum sentence of 14 years to 25 years from that year. This criminal sentence was as heavy as the 25 years maximum sentence of attempted murder, as this criminal will be monitored and persecuted by the police for the rest of his life. The Australian judge did not allow my children to meet with me when they were childhood because the Australian police knew that as long as I saw my children that time, the truth will be revealed to the world, and I will get the fairness and justice. I had been able to rebuild my business that time. The Australian police must also formally apologize to me for their malicious persecute me and my family. I have good character, no bad habit, and I am never selfish. I am never a selfish person. The great arrow creates a good chance to young people to be a hero, because Australian great arrow and economic uptime had come that time. So I had created my proud of excellent business and brilliant future that I show on. Besides, I fulfill parents and helping my siblings to solve their difficulties. I am also happy to help my friends and take care of my staffs. I did my best to take care of my own family and educated my children to become the pillars of state and society. I also encouraged my ex-wife to join Shanghai Chinese Overseas Friendship Association, and due to our wealth was strong enough that time, she could be the president of the association. I was happy to back her up because I was secretly harassed and attacked at that time. I still firmly believed that I can break through the barrier and finally succeed and become a successful entrepreneur in Australia. Therefore, in addition to be a standard family husband that looked after family, I spent all my time reading English at that time. I only had a thought, quickly get my English well and enter the mainstream society in Australia. My career and wealth was good that time. I hoped to do my little ability for China's rejuvenation and their peace between Taiwan and mainland China. Besides, I was looking for business opportunity in mainland China. I also tried to do my best for the education of children in poor areas. At that time, I wanted to build two primary schools in poor outback areas. I will use the financial resources of my whole life to create and take care of the teachers' funds and the cost of studying for the two schools, because the teachers' source and the students' school fees and the living expense were big problems at that time. Later, I had even found this location which should to build a school. I was wholeheartedly going to achieve these wonderful things at that time. How would I have the right of murder my wife, even if my wife was sinless, greedy, and bad heart? It was not enough reason to cause me to plan to murder her. Even more ridiculous is I did malicious wounding and gravely bodily harm her, my most beloved children's mother. I don't believe that there are people who dare to distort these things right now. And there were dozens of people, including leaders and presidents of Taiwanese associations in Sydney, in Australia, as well as church fathers and sisters, church priests, and members, relatives, friends, staffs, and babysitters who have offered the personality certificate reference to the court. They were willing to testify for me in the past 16 years. How many of these people who have been harassed and persecuted or even died? There is already no one can prove it. It is the time for truth to come out. The Australian people, the Australian police have to give me the fairness and the justice back. April, year 2019. On 15 April, year 2019. In English, where are my tragic daughter and son now? Daddy misses you very, very much. On December 23 last year, at the seeing his own book ceremony of President Ma Ying-jeou in Taiwan, I lead it to Koto and Koto. I lead it to Koto and beg him to help me looking for my children in Sydney, in Australia, so that I can reunite with the children who have lost 17 years. Lord, because of nervous, my face is tight and not easy. Facebook post on 16 April year 2019 in English. I believe that God won't bully and destroy a good-hearted person. My daughter and son who know that daddy did not have a plan and my ex-wife was not seriously bodily harmed. Where was the serious crime of malicious wounding and gravely bodily harm from? That crime sentence was raised up to 25 years. In the year when I and my ex-wife had an incident, the criminal sentence was raised from the maximum sentence of 14 years to 25 years from that year. This criminal sentence was as same heavy as the 25-year maximum sentences of attempted murder, and this criminal will be monitored and persecuted by the police for the rest of his life. Okay, today my English is finished.